Suicide is one of the leading causes of death here in the U.S. According to the CDC, 2023, more than 49,000 people died by suicide. That's why today is so very important. It is World Suicide Prevention Day. And joining us right now is Raelyn Pearson with HealthONE Crisis Assessment Team. Raelyn, thank you so much for joining us on this very important topic. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, why is today so important to highlight this?
Yeah, of course. So as you said, suicide is the cause of death for almost 50,000 individuals a year in the United States. So it is imperative that we continue to have conversations, debunk harmful myths, and advocate for systemic changes.
Yeah, suicide is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to self-harm attempts, and are also important to highlight, when, and the more important thing is people to have these tough conversations. When can people have these tough conversations? You mentioned trying to remove that stigma. So how would you go about doing that?
Yeah, I think it is really important that you have the conversation now. We have debunked the idea that talking about suicide increases the risk of suicide. So the more we can normalize having the conversation of, hey, what would we do if you woke up and didn't want to be here anymore? If you didn't want to be awake in the morning, and being able to understand that those early intervention conversations are prevention conversations.
You're part of this crisis prevention team in terms of this. How do you go about doing that, though? Because sometimes, when you talk to friends or family members, it can be like, should I pry into their personal relationship? Or, if there are signs, would that be a good time to do that?
Yeah, definitely if there are signs. If you're noticing that somebody is withdrawing, or they are not engaging the things that they love to engage in, or maybe they're more emotional than normal, asking the question and really just being very frank about it. Are you having thoughts that you don't want to be here anymore? That is the way that we can really dig in, and it feels a little uncomfortable, but leaning into that discomfort is for the safety of everyone.
Yeah, and on the other side here, you may be waking up and, feeling like hope is lost, but what resources are available right now?
Of course. So as you said, I work with HealthONE Crisis Assessment Team. We do have a mental health and wellness center in the Denver Metro. We also always have the 988 suicide hotline, which is available to call or text, and also the Trevor Project for our LGBTQIA+ community.
Yeah, those are so important resources for sure. What role can leaders, schools, even for us here in the media, can we play in representing prevention and healing?
Yeah, I think the most important thing that we can do is destigmatize the conversation around suicidal ideation, suicidal thoughts, and understanding that those thoughts are a symptom of a larger system of distress. It does not have any value, worth, or any weight on the strength of that individual. And the more that we can say, hey, this is okay, let's talk about next steps, the better we're all going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Take advantage of the resources and just be forthcoming. It sounds like probably the best ways to do this. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate that. It's such a very important topic. You can watch all of our interviews, by the way, on our website. Just go to cbscolorado.com.